what differentiates us, I mean, we've got our own lane in that we're not a discount house. We're not a super cuts, great clips, sports clips, where the pressure is to, get it done in 15 minutes and high volume, turn them out. What we do is the experience.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us once again for this fireside chat for Best Franchise Networks. I'm joined here today by Dan Moriarty. Dan is an owner, operator, and area representative for Diesel Barbershop out in the North Carolina, South Carolina market. So, Dan, I want to give you an opportunity to tell everybody about Diesel Barbershop and your expansion plans for 2023 and 24.
We are the first diesel barbershop in the Carolinas, so we've established some brand recognition. I've got a second shop. We're looking for a site for it right now. We scaled up pretty good in 2.5 years. We scaled up pretty well. So, and we're not in Charlotte, we're in Mooresville. So the area that I have of the big cities, most of North Carolina and a lot of South Carolina, populated. I've got Charlotte, Statesville, Asheville, Greenville, Spartanburg. So there's some hot markets. Charlotte is one of the hottest franchise markets in the country. So I've got a lot of hope for Diesel in Charlotte and can support several. The first thing when you come in is we'll say, yeah, you want a beer? Or anything else. Soda water, we've got some arcade games. The trade dress to wallpaper is really cool. And it's just a good feel. And so that's what we really sell is the vibe. We hire talented people. We're in North Carolina, being a barbershop means something, right? You're required by the barber board of examiners to have a certain number of barbers and managing barbers. You'll notice it's not called Great Clips Barbershop, right? Because they're not in North Carolina. So that differentiates us. So we're not, the high-end wood panel walls, leather apron, kind of country club kind of place. And we're certainly not a discount, turn them over kind of place.
Right.
And if you look at the website, any one of our websites or www.dieselbarbershop.com, it gives you a good job of getting a feel for the vibe.
It really does. I mean, I was on your website earlier before this call, and you can just see the walls, the artwork and everything is just funky and hip and cool. Got a great energy going on. You can just tell that it has that really neat kind of vibe that people really do appreciate, and the experience that everybody wants when they're going to take a little bit of time out of their day and go and get a haircut. You don't just want it to be a boring or mediocre experience. It's to take a little break and actually enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and right, we spend time with them. And it's interesting that you're not even, you're using the words that we use. Because that's what it is. That's what we're selling. We're selling the vibe and the energy. And when you got things going, it's just a really, really cool energy. And almost everybody, even guys that have been here, 15 times, customers, when they walk out, they're feeling about the best they're going to feel that day. Unless they got something great going on. But it just feels good to walk out of here.
Well, you have a unique experience, or a unique perspective, I should say, because you're both an owner operator and the area representative for Diesel Barbershop. So you have that corporate role and that hands-on experience of operating your own shops. Tell me a little bit about the services that you offer and some of the things that anybody can expect when they walk in the door.
And I want to go back to what you said first for just a second is you're right that I kind of have two perspectives, and I am a true believer, right? I mean, and I know that not everybody, there are people where franchise might be right for them and diesel might not. But I'm a true believer, man, and for a lot of people, it's a really good fit because it's relaxed and still profitable and still, we got a good concept going on. We've got our own lane, so a person who's just got a little bit of savvy in customer service and a little bit of marketing can do real well. So the question was, the services, what we will do is we will do, I think it's 7 steps. Everyone will get a haircut, a style, by a pro. We'll do a neck shave, we'll do a hot face towel. We'll do a little massage at the end, we'll do a style with product if you want. We do a lot of beard work. We do a lot of shaving, we do a lot of shaved hair. That's another thing that kind of differentiates us from the discount lane. They're shaving, and I've had it done. You're rolling the dice if you're gonna let somebody shave you. Whereas our guys love, we have categories of beards. There's a mega beard, a gnarly beard. There's, we love doing beard work. So everybody's going to spend about 30 minutes on any service, and it's going to be done by a pro, a kind pro, and probably a fairly cool person too to be around.
That's fantastic. I mean, as a beard guy myself, there's nothing more important than finding a good barber that you can rely on. And I mean, this is one of those things where it's like, I expect to spend a decent amount of money on my hair, on my beard, and for it to be done consistently well the same time. And once I find somebody who can do that, I'm a customer for life. I'm going nowhere else as long as I can get the same experience every time. So I love what you guys are doing. Let's talk a little bit more about the kind of the franchise model here. Who is a good fit as a franchisee? Who would come into this business and be an ideal prospect for you?
It's not necessarily hair background, right? Because that's a skill, and that's a professional skill that we hire for. And to me, a customer service background, a marketing background. To me, military retirees are like ideal because they still, just the training of mission focus to get things done. I don't think you can really be totally absentee unless you've got a partner or someone that you really believe in, and that's because the main thing that we provide is a cultural thing. It's how it feels to walk in here. And if you don't have someone on the ground from the time you open that is cultivating that feeling and insisting on it, you have the risk of just ending up being a supercuts with better wallpaper, right? So you really need somebody's got to be involved to get you going. And then, of course, you can train managers up and keep that going. But, we hire barbers and cosmetologists, and they're 2 different worlds, right? Those are 2 different groups. So on the cosmetologist side, it seems like there's, it's kind of a transient group that they've all kind of worked in the same places. And we behave differently. So somebody's got to spend some time early on making sure that it feels like a diesel. It can be semi-absentee, and it can be a little operator. I do it just because I'm liking doing it. But we have people who spend a lot less time in the shop than I do. We have people who have kept their career path going. I'm just saying that at opening, you do have to spend some attention.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And then what markets are you primarily looking to expand into over the course of the next couple of years? What would you say are the primary areas of focus?
The way I would do it now, it could be anywhere. I mean, if a guy in States, thinks Statesville can work, or Asheville is a very hip place, could support one or two diesels, I think. But Charlotte makes a lot of sense to me because Charlotte's hot, Charlotte's growing. Greenville, Spartanburg, same thing. I think Charlotte's the first place to go.
Got it. Okay, great. And then tell us a little bit about the support that a new franchisee get, or really all franchisees get from corporate as it relates to the sales and marketing and customer support and systems and operations.
Yeah, getting a new guy to grand opening to opening, I was really impressed with, because you're doing a lot of stuff that I didn't have. I was a newspaper guy, right? What skills did that guy have? So there was a lot of the construction, lease negotiations, and all that I don't really know about. The support was really good on that, and construction, and what you buy, fixtures, equipment, and all that, and even right up to the initial training of staff to open was really, really good. And there's a lot of support there afterwards. We still have, there's ongoing training and coaching, but the biggest thing, the biggest value I got was that you could get a guy like me to open and be ready to go. And like, I can take it from there. I know some marketing, and I just got some common sense on customer service and acquisition and retention. But they got me through the technology you're going to need, and that, it's a lot of support getting set up.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. So let's touch on cost. If somebody's thinking about going down this path with diesel, what can they expect to be needed as far as liquid capital and investment?
I think the liquid capital is like 450. I think the 450,000. I think the no, I'm sorry, net worth. Liquid capital is like 50,000. Net worth 450. The total investment to get first shop up and running is maybe 350 to 450,000. And then of course there are some discounts for buying 3 licenses to start, for example. There's a military discount on the licensing.
Right. What is the military discount?
I think it's 10%.
Great. Okay. Very good. One thing I love, you're in a market that is just exploding right now. The North Carolina, South Carolina markets are extremely hot. They're big for technology. They've got big companies moving in, which is bringing, a lot of new residents into the areas. And almost every market around in both of those areas is extremely opportunistic right now. So it's awesome to hear that you still have availability for new locations in some of these hot cities. And I think
yeah. And I'm out there looking for my second location, and the realty people are saying it's tightening up a little bit. You're fighting with other people for the same spot. So it is getting a little bit more competitive than it was the first time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Those are great markets. Well, Dan, is there anything else you want us to know?
I think it's a pretty good business to run. And if you work it right, you don't have to be a full-time operator. You get good people and just stay in touch with them.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today and shedding some light on this opportunity.
No, I appreciate it, Jeff.